Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today we're talking about Juan Bond and their new album Womb via Dark Trail Records. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Also join us on Discord. Juan Bond is a New York City-based mathcore and self-described weirdo metal band I previously covered on my bands like the Dillinger Escape Plan video. Their self-titled EP was definitely a standout release for me in 2017, and as such, the promise of a full-length, nearly 3 years in the making definitely had me on the hype train. The question: will Womb get us all the way to the station?
All aboard the coal train, baby!
Garbage Juice was a great choice for a single and the album's opener, as it is a veritable circus of rumbling bass, frenetic panic chords, and chaotic vocals that frankly leave me about as breathless as the frontman. That's not even to mention the very Dillinger-sounding build leading to the final conclusion. And where that track simply dabbles in the Dillinger Escape Plan tropes, the intro of Papa's Got a Brand New Bed could have easily been ripped straight from One of Us is the Killer. What with its pendulum-like guitar groove interspliced with noisy little flavor riffs that are the absolute definition of hype.
We're the makers! We're the makers!
And no complaints here, as one, it sounds fantastic, and two, ultimately evolves once more into something wholly different from anything I would have expected from that album, with great use of strings and clean singing. Pretty stunning, captivating stuff that always left me wondering where we would go next.
I can feel all the wires around me closing in.
And speaking of the band's more melodic side, Morbid Mortgage takes a more thoughtful approach, again focused on clean vocals and also jazzy instrumentation that had me reflecting perhaps the most on one of my all-time favorite albums, the number 12 Looks Like You's Worse Than Alone. But also everything from Between the Buried and Me to The Fall of Troy. Regardless, it's a great illustration of how Juan Bond's even more understated tracks can still make a lasting impact, and also serves as one of the many nice highlights for the band's full-time violin player in the second half. And while there are plenty of weird moments spread over the duration of Womb, the strangest track and most likely to draw some mixed opinions is easily About to Rob a Liquor Store. This highly experimental track is a bizarre sonic collage of Mike Patton-esque spoken word, layered string arrangements, and what sounds like maybe a bass clarinet.
I'm hearing that song again. Feelings of longing and, well, I'm making a mess of myself, baby.
Later on, we also get some clean singing that once more alludes to some pretty obvious the number 12 influence. So much so that I even checked to see if Jesse Corman actually guested on this one, but I didn't see anything in the production notes.
I'm scared of what I might do to myself. Let's learn. Let's lean on this.
Anyways, this is definitely a record where I don't want to spoil too much. All things considered, and despite the obvious tributes and love paid to various legendary acts from the mathcore scene, Juan Bond continue to be a force entirely their own on Womb. In fact, more so than ever before. I defy you to find another album that sounds quite like it. From the implementation of the strings to the bizarre and often unpredictable overall songwriting, Juan Bond pull from a familiar set of ingredients, but throw out the recipe entirely in favor of something you've never seen on your plate before. As for your thoughts on the final taste, that's up to you. As for me, I give Womb a 9 for enjoyability. It definitely has plenty of re-listenability factor, and I can tell that this will be one of those albums where I pick up on new things with each subsequent playthrough. There are some moments here and there that maybe got a little bit too meandering for me, but I was never bored. I do think that the clean singing could be honed in a little bit more in the future. I give it a 9 for musicianship. Again, the performances here are quite impressive across the board, with the violin perhaps the most frequently stealing my attention, but also the bass. It's kind of interesting for those to be the standouts in a genre most frequently focused on guitars and drums, and believe me, there's still plenty of that in the faster parts. But again, Juan Bonds seem more interested in doing things a little differently. Overall, I think that the songwriting could be a little bit tighter in some places, but really only just a few notches away from perfection. And I definitely think this deserves a hearty 9 for innovation. It's not quite a 10, as I've definitely heard some even weirder, more out there stuff over the years, but that said, I have a hard time believing I'll come across another album that sounds quite like this one in 2021. I could draw some mild similarities to the latest Cryptodyra record, but other than that, this is a monster entirely its own. So a 9 overall and an A- for Juan Bond and Womb. Get it again via Dark Trail Records. Y'all, thanks as always for watching, and let me know down in the comments what you thought of Womb as well as your favorite Mathcore album. And hey, stick around and subscribe for plenty more videos. If you hit that like button, you may be most interested in the aforementioned bands like the Dillinger Escape Plan list, bands like Every Time I Die list, the Dillinger Escape Plan album tier list, or my interview with Carson of the Callous Daoboys. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.